Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Al-syafiq, and this is Hazim and Syauqi, and Zefanya is here. And the topic that we'll be presenting for today is non-verbal communication, which is for eye contact and body posture. And okay, the next one is the philosophy of content on what we'll be presenting along this presentation. Yes, we'll be explaining about what is the meaning of non-verbal communication and what is the uses of the eye contact in communication, body posture and position in communication, and lastly the importance and limitation. Okay, what is non-verbal communication? Of course, you guys already know what is the meaning of the non-verbal communication. So I'll just explain it briefly, which is the transmission of knowledge through body language. And this is the types of the non-verbal communication, such as the posture, body language, eye contact, blinking, tone of voice, facial expressions, smell, time, personal presentation, gesture, and pitch of voice. It is used to emphasize a point or to add more meaning into it. And there's also some differences in culture on different countries, such as the OK sign. In US, it is an OK sign, but in Germany, it is an halt. A halt. The next one is the picture for the example of non-verbal communication for eye contact, body posture, and position. On the first picture, yes, as you can see here, they're both happy on what they're talking about, right? Through their eyes and their head gesture. And in this picture, you can see that the woman feels uncomfortable because the man is staring at her. Yeah? No? Okay. And the next one will be I content communication. I'll pass this to Hazim. We will continue.
Okay, Assalamualaikum everyone, my name is Muhammad Hazim. Today I will be explaining much more deeper in eye contact. So eye contact is basically engaging in a conversation by the use of your eyes, or at least areas around your eyes. So it is used mainly to express interest, whether or not you're bored or giving much attention to my topic today. And it's also used to indicate states of emotion, for example, anger, or happiness, or sadness, using, for example, your eyebrows, or the distance between your eyebrows and your eyelids. Then lastly is a social cue with interaction. Like for example, you're jogging down a road and then you actually saw someone going to cross against you, and then you actually met eyes. So in that split second, you actually have to interact by saying hi or hello, ataupun lambai saja. If not, it's going to be weird the next time you meet each other. So, between the emotions and interactions of each other using your eyes, these are the three main factors that I've seen differences that varies between each emotion, which is one, the frequency of contact, how much your eyes meet with the person, which in my note to keep in mind is to actually maintain the same amount of frequency between the person you're interacting with in the conversation. If it's more frequent, it's going to be a bit awkward. If it's less, it's going to be a bit rude to the other person because you're not paying too much attention. And then secondly, the eye gestures. What I mean by that is the shape of the eyes that you make. Like for example, down here, I bet most of you already know what kind of emotion this person is experiencing in this exaggerated illustration. Just a little bit of anger at that. You can understand by the way of the eyebrows, like pointing and slanted towards the nose. Yeah, and then how the eyes is like slanted a little bit, focusing to the person. And then in contrast to the set of eyes above it, which is a little bit happiness expression. If you can see a little bit more distance between the eyebrows and the eyelids, and then the eye itself is more widened in comparison. And then lastly, the direction of gaze. Now this is very obvious if you're thinking usually. when you're talking to someone and he actually brought up an interesting topic. You will always actually, most of us were actually look into an empty corner thinking about it like, that's actually pretty interesting. Or when you're having a conversation with a person and then you're actually kind of bored of it, so you probably just go like, your eyes probably go wandering around like to see if there's anything interesting other than what he's talking about to prevent you from, getting much bored in that. So I think that's the end of my explanation. We'll be passing to Susan. Syauqi.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the body posture and position in communication. Now I'm going to talk about body posture. Okay. Okay. Body posture is, according to a research that I've conducted, body posture is the most accurate way to tell how you feel rather than talking, because people tend to lie, but your body will never lie, because it tells you and describes the feeling of what you feel. An example is slouching, because slouching is, like in Malay, bungkuk. If someone is bungkuk, then the person is not that comfortable, confident, and sometimes it also can hurt your backbone. And now is arms akimbo. Arms akimbo is like this. According to research, arms akimbo is actually a feeling of aggressive, but sometimes it's just feeling of tired, something like that. So you define yourself. And now is next. I'm going to talk about the body position, which is the standing of one person to another, which is tell how you feel with that person, and in other words, also known as personal space. And the factors that determine space is gender, which is if a male and a male, sometimes it's a bit closer, but not that close. And a male and a female usually is far, if it's especially stranger. And next is nature of relationship, which is like lover or friends. Sometimes it's a bit closer, but yeah. Culture and rural or urban living environment. If people live in cities, sometimes the space is a bit small because of overpopulation. Now I'm going to pass the slide to Hazim. Hazim will perform.
So the last few slides will be explaining the importance and limitations of non-verbal communication. So if you can see here, the importance is to provide feedback. So what some of us explained today within the conversation, you have to show a little bit of interest, a little bit of engagement within it, to actually indicate whether or not the topic is actually relevant or something boring, something like that. And then to move forward pretty much quickly because of our time, reinforcing intended message. It's actually what Zef explained today is to put emphasis more in certain topics or certain points within that interaction conversation. And then lastly, in this point of importance is to regulate the flow of communication. So what it means by that is provide signaling when communication, for example, the drop of my voice signals the conversation is ending, or if I can bring in my example of eye contact is when you look into your watch, or look into a distance, like pretending, or there's something important that is this conversation right now. So that's an example. And then moving on to limitation. There's 3 points right there. So the lack of the limitations of using only eye and not body language within interaction is the lack of formality. The way we speak, the way we say the words that we use is also very important within the interaction other than your body also. So it's a codependence kind of thing. And then secondly, the difficulty to understand is a very relevant point, like how Zefanya explained just now, because it varies between cultures, cities, areas, rural areas, etc. And lastly, the distortion of information. Because, like I said, like you said the other day, body language is not enough. You need to have some words to put into there, or some medium of interactions other than body language to send the whole image or make the points more clearly within a conversation, interaction, presentation, and etc. So I guess that'll be the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening. So any questions? No. Any? Okay. Thank you.